Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so enough on that.
We'll be comfortable with them over here when they see how to install it.
Oops, I'm sorry. Everybody.
So, now with broken legs to do that, okay. That's all there's to it. And then reach underneath there to press that clip. Take that off. All right, it does widen your swath though, and sometimes these are nice to maybe work a tire marker, tough area, so it, it has its purpose. Okay, any questions on the side brush? We're going to move along. Cylindrical brushing. Again, this machine is a hybrid. It's designed to sweep or scrub, or sweep and scrub, either or, with just 2 cylindrical brushes. These are specially designed brushes to do that. So it has its own dust control system and filter to sweep dry as a sweeper. And when you switch to scrubbing, that'll shut off and you'll use a different fan to pull your water in. Of course, when we're washing and scrubbing, water is a great dust control agent, so that's why that needs to be shut off. We don't want to sweep our own water, make a mud cake in the filter. All right? A few things about cylindrical brushes. These are also balanced. Look how that flows. See that? Balanced. Why? Because at 200 RPMs, you'd eat bearings if it wasn't. All right? This is on a spline drive. I should talk about that. This brush is reversible. It's made to go flip either way. In fact, I don't think talked about in the video, you should flip these, take these out. Tony mentioned earlier string. And there isn't a cylindrical brush made in the world that likes string or shrink wrap.
Come over this way so you can see.
So, one brush goes on that side and has a motor. One goes on this side. Here's where I'm going. This is the idler hub. You have the exact same drive on the hydraulic motor on the other side. Okay. So when you line up the splines, if you'll see this, there's this metal rim around here. It's called the string guard. What we're doing there is when this is sealed against the brush, it is going to keep shrink wrap and string from going down in there, winding itself around the bearing and wiping out the mechanism. It used to happen all the time. So you're going along, you hit some shrink wrap. What happens? It's going to work its way and wind its way, get to the end here. String guard's not going to let it destroy the bearing, but it'll wind tighter and tighter and just be on there. Again, the brushes are all individually stapled, so you're not going to ruin the brush. But when you rotate these things, it's a good time to cut all that stuff off. I've seen shrink wrap on here wound so tight it's smoking. So that's what's going to happen there with the string deal, all right? So nothing gets harmed, but as these brushes spin in an opposite direction, these bristles will take a set in one direction. So at 50 hours, if you put the front broom to the back broom to the front, and cut all the shrink wrap off, you'll extend the life of your brush about a third. Okay. So that's a nice procedure, around 50 hours for somebody to do that. Gives you a chance to cut out everything that's wound up, chance to get more life out of those brooms. They're not cheap.
It's a good time to take them and hose them off.
Yeah, clean them. Yeah.
They will get debris.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, there are other choices in brushes. This black poly is pretty forgiving, and it's the one that comes standard with it to start out with. Should be fine. We don't know yet really if you're going to sweep more dry or scrub more wet or what that function is.
We're in the habit of, because of the scrubber we have now, we sweep first and then we scrub.
Okay.
But sometimes we have a lot of stuff on the floor.
Yeah, you got a lot of debris, and I would recommend that here too. Think of your garage at home. Do you mop it or do you sweep it first? Sweep it first, right? Sweep it first. So I would do that here, because the debris is going to be a lot easier to handle when it dumps out of that hopper than it is to be fighting the wet stuff out of the tank. So.
And when you get lighter days, you can just do the one operation. But until you get it cleaned up nice, you'll probably have to do 2 operations. Sweep first, scrub second.
I didn't talk about this, and I'm going to. This is cool and new that we did. Where's my brush at? So if you look in this window when it's on, you can see your tips of your bristles to know where you're getting there. And you can run these babies all the way out in the red. I've seen just the cores on a machine. So you can actually wear these.
Sure. But the effectiveness of the sweeping and stuff would
Yeah,
be...
right.
Wouldn't be any sweeping.
No, there wouldn't be any sweeping.
So now you do have a peep show here to see where your bristle lengths are.
Okay,
all right?
good deal.
I have seen brushes wear front and rear differently, just for whatever reasons. If we're constantly on a slope, the front brush is getting bear down on more, so that's another good reason to flip them, right?
Okay.
Besides rotating them, do they gotta flip them the other way too every once in a while?
Front, right. Go front to back is a good way
Front to back.
to set the bristle length. Because they're spinning in opposite directions, so the bristles take a set in one direction. And so if you move your front brush to your back brush, that'll help.
Or just flip it end for end.
Or that, yeah. Where I see people scrubbing ramps, the front brush wears down sooner than the back one. So
Right.
it's got a little more. I get that lucky, really?
I think you did.
Did.
I think
So
it's
how many
great.
times do you have to do it to be able to do
Once.
that? Okay.
Might be a long drive.
If you're really having problems, you can walk around the other side, open the door, grab the brush, push it up, lift it up, grab it up on this line, right? So that's how I did it the first time. And then when our mechanic said, no, if you just put your foot on the bottom of the brush, it'll tilt the other side up and jump on the spline, and I got lucky. All right, so idler. By the way, each one of these motors does have its own thermal breaker, and I should talk about that. How do we get this on?
Each brush has its own motor then, huh?
Its own motor, yeah, its own power. Exactly. That's it. I hate these latches. One up, one down. What's that? So that latch is a turn 90 and
Okay.
all right. Back to the breaker thing. So you're going along and you grab half a pallet and it gets wedged between those two brushes, right? It'll stall the hydraulics. They're made for that. But what it will do is overheat that motor that's trying to work and drive it. And you'll usually pop a thermal breaker. No harm, no foul. You know, take whatever's in there out.
Right.
But I have seen machines, guys are cleaning with one brush, wondering why it wouldn't sweep. It needs both brushes working. So they pop the thermals. So that's the first place to check. Thermals, as you know, you just let them cool, you click the reset, good to go. That's the first place to check if the motor's not running. So all protected thermals. All right. In time, these blades are going to wear out. Got urethane on here. These are good ones. There's no tools. They just undo this band here, and they're easily replaced.
Okay.
There's three options on these blades. You got the best. There's a soft gum rubber. There's red line and text. This is urethane. These are good blades. These will last a long time. They're made for this environment.
Okay.
They're a little more money, but they last 3 times as long.
Give what you pay for.
Oh wait, thanks for finding a tenant. Okay. We're gonna put the other brush on. Any volunteers?
Yeah.
Nathan? Yeah, there we go.
John.
I love it when they volunteer like that.
Yes, I do.
There you go. Just get a hold of that and just pull it out. Yep. Very good.
Everything on here is gonna have a little weight to it.
Yeah, these are the industrial machines.
Yeah, let's try the foot trick.
Yeah, so try that trick. Just rotate it with your foot a little bit and see if it lines up with its line.
You won't break it.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy duty stuff.
Tiny. You want to try that?
Like anything, there's a little trick to it. Once you get used to it,
There you go, Denver.
And that should just have some. Those little tabs are going to be falling out behind that plate.
Oh,
Lift it up.
okay. Thank you. there.
Brush went right on though, good job. So if you lift up and drop it down behind that.
I don't think it's on the brush all the way.
It's not, I can't get it.
Brand new brush, yeah, that could be. Maybe we don't have the brush all the way sealed on it. I'll pull on it.
Come on this side, Denver, or he can work on it.
Yeah, so that's it.
I think you got it.
That's why I got you, Denver.
You're, yeah. Should go clockwise and then just snap it down.
Knock it down. Yep, right there, it's gotta go this way.
There you go.
Thank you, Joe. You are certified. Way to go.
It only gets easier.
Yep, that's the hard part.
And once you do it about 4 to 5 times, it's lickety split.
That
You
was
just get a
excellent.
feel for it.
That's what there is to it. You can see now why they're flippable and workable and cleanable and changeable. So good job. Thank you. That's really the hard part of that as far as, usage stuff. These squeegee blades are going to last a long time. The filter's going to shake back by itself. You guys have had scrubbers. Somebody at the end of the shift cleans them when they're done scrubbing. It's going to be real important. Same. I've got this in the high dump mode for the sweeper to dump the debris. I got the door shut. Theoretically, if I swept, right, this would have, when you turn off the sweeper, you saw in the video, the filter shaker is going to pound that filter and knock that fine dust down into the hopper with the debris. What we've learned is that fine dust actually clings to the debris. You dump the dust with your garbage at the same time. It is important to shake that filter. It's on a timer. It's not enough sometimes. You're going to sweep dry a lot here, catching up. It's very, very possible you'll see that thing clog. Stop what you're doing. Just hit that button for 30 seconds and shake back the filter. It's just it's loaded up. So there's no such thing as overshaking the filter. No such thing. All right? You're not going to hurt anything doing it. This is a good place to clean and wash and look at stuff that you have. And with the dump door open, you get up in that hopper. You can dump on the ground and anywhere up to 5 feet. It's just a matter of where you want it. So if you're going to put it in a small trash can, the trash can's this tall, no need to dump that dirt and let it fly in the wind. You can get your hopper at any height you want. Like I said, from the ground up. I do like them up in the air somewhat, because it'll help slump this material out. Gravity work. You can bounce this. You can rock the switch and bounce it up and down and help knock stuff out of it. Hydraulics are all overbuilt to do that. Not going to hurt anything. So I'll do that too. I'll bounce the thing. Right? Again, I do have this hopper door shut. I guess I should have opened it. There's nothing in there. Ideally, you position this wherever you're going to. Do you have a dump station? Do you have a plan there?
We have those cardboard boxes. That's what I was asking him. Are they going to be high enough to cover that box? I think it's pretty close.
60 inches, fully loaded. Day in, day out, for years. But if you have to do something else, yeah. Some people will get those little Rubbermaid containers, too. You'll figure something out. There's a lot of channel and a lot of metal in there to support that much weight. There's sealed bearings in this. Got a lot of steel. Where I'm going is just as heavy. You know, if you're up in the air and you're underneath there cleaning it out or working on it or doing something, there is this safety pin marked in red. So you know how that works, right? If you were to have a hydraulic leak and you didn't have a safety pin, this heavy guy come down on you. So that's the reason for that. Any questions? You're going to be under there. Other than if you're dumping it for the steering wheel, you don't have to mess around. But if we're going to do anything, safety pin's a good idea. Yeah, it's on a little ring right here. I don't know, maybe you're hosing out your brushes without taking them off. I see you do that, right? Down here, get those things clean without having to. But if you're going to be under here, that's a really good idea. All right. While we have this up, they showed that in the video. These are your gate valves to dump. Yellow touch points for operators. So they know at the end of the day, yeah, yellow's good for me. I can touch a yellow touch point. Well, that's kind of why we're, you know.
That's dumping the basically the water,
your
dirty.
Solution.
Yep.
Yeah, in the scrub mode. Again, this is the sweeper. Now, when you're scrubbing, when you're in the wet scrub mode, you're washing before you got water in the tank, water's coming metering down, we're washing away. The debris still going to get picked up and put in here. It'll be wet debris. What we didn't do is we didn't turn the vacuum fan on in here and suck that moisture into our filter. The filter's washable. It is 99% micron. It's a great dust filter. But why sweep your own water if you don't have to? And that's why it shuts itself off. Okay? But where I'm going is, if you were scrubbing all the time, the debris is doing the same thing as it would be if you were sweeping. It's going into here, and you have to dump this stew. It'll be wet. It'll be sludgy. That's where debris is all going to go.
So that's why if there's a heavy amount of debris and soil, sweep first, scrub
first,
second.
Dry. A lot easier to get this dumped out dry. It'll slough out. You can handle a lot more material because it's not gained weight with water, so it's not swollen. So it's sweep like crazy first and dump this stuff dry, rather than getting it wet, pulling it up the squeegee tubes and into the tank where now you got to battle sludge out of there. So I do recommend you sweep, dry, catch up, and then you wash it. But if you've got a time-sensitive area and you just got to scrub it, it'll handle it. A little more cleanup at the end. But either way, you just got the flexibility to do both. You're going to be excited to wash your floors, I know, but if you can choose to. That's great. Well, wait till you fill this tank up with 70 gallons of mud. But why didn't I sweep first? All right. All these holes, you know, this is just standard janitorial stuff. There have been clogs, you know, toothpicks are infamous to get caught in here, create a bird's nest and stuff. But you got access to get all this stuff and back flush it out. This is a good wash, good clean out too. What you got in here, like I said, to get this stuff finished. All right. Questions? Yeah, you know, it'd be easier to do that if I lowered this. No tools to get to it, but you know what I might do? I'm going to fire this up, and I should have talked about that. You know, when you're done sweeping, the machine knows, okay, I can't hold any more debris. It automatic hopper door, trash can lid, goes on the trash, right? And then you situate yourself, if it is a blind spot behind you, where you're going to dump your tote or whatever, and get it near, and then you would open the door, the hopper door. I'm going to do that so you see how that works. Plus, this will be the cleanest that hopper will ever be. So, yeah, well, yeah, put that in so So, and one motor runs hydraulic. One thing about internal combustion machines, folks, you got 3 hydraulic pumps, and they have to have power to run anything. To run a hopper, to run a fan, to move. So where I'm going is, you don't want to bog your hydraulics at an idle. You start and stop the machine at an idle only, and then you've got to hit the rabbit, give it the horsepower she needs to run any hydraulic function. Right? Does that make sense? That looks right spot idle. And when you're done at the end of the day, you want to idle it back down too. You don't want to turn that motor off racing, right? But I'm at an idle. I can't perform anything. I've got to give this thing some power. Good idea to watch that lip. The stuff's going to cling there. Keep that door from closing all the way. Great clean out position, hopper up. Pretty much let it in. See that? So that right left there, that's mine. Keep that open. not this kind of oven easy to get to. Yeah, and it's washable, it's polyester. No, these stay on the filter when you buy them. What these are for, these corners you pointed out, this is the filter shaker right here. So when it shakes itself, this isolator's banging on these to knock the stuff out of the filter.
So if you want to wash it, do you take it out or you just run the holes under here? Oh, okay.
That's how they come. Yep. It's a polyester material, and it's impervious to water. They take forever to dry. A lot of people have two of these. The one when they're drying and one in.
Will it dry overnight?
No. No.
Okay.
Take the hose in, Ron, and pull that out through here,
Yeah.
filter.
If this is shaken a lot, it'll last a long time. But it's just, you see that, just a thick media filter, very efficient. And again, polyester, not paper, so it can get wet. This gray right here, I should point that out. This is called a permafilter. We're using Sydney snow fence technology right here. Follow me there. So we got a high volume of air. We're slowing it down with a permafilter. That's changing the pressure, dropping a bunch of dust out before it even gets to the filter. About 60% actually. And just by having a Sydney snow fence in place. I have seen these birds' nests up. I've seen these. All you want to do is just keep them open and they'll work fine. But over time, I have seen these clog with bird stuff, so you just want to make sure that they're open like they are. But that does a lot of work for us with very little effort, right?
It slows the dust down,
Slows
basically.
it down, like I said, about 60% on a pressure change. So keep them open. This is how filters, like I said, most places will order a second filter to have one on hand in case this is getting washed and dried. You can blow it out with air. There's a lot of things, shake it. Shake it. That's a lot. And then you went up and else there. I've had these last 40 years in the machine. Years. If you're shaking. If not, air's going to find a way and blow a hole in it. If this thing's dusting, something's wrong. Either the filter's full and needs to be cleaned and shaken, or it's gotten so loaded up it's got a hole in it, or it was wet so long it tore, or the seal's gone. It double seals automatically, sits in there one way. It's possible for this gasket to rip or be gone, but that's just wear and tear on anything really. As long as those surfaces are clean, seals in the plastic, it only goes in one way, so it's going to sit, seal, and then shake it. Did I say that yet?
Shake it off.
Shake it. Shake it, wring it out, I don't know. You good there? I got in the lab.
That's just weather stripping, so you can replace it.
Yeah. Yeah, the filter comes with it. Buy a new filter, they're $190 or something, whatever. And it comes with both the seals and the metal place to shake it. And you have one drying and one in use. That's the way to do things. All right, cool stuff. You lower the whole thing on right there. Good. This machine's smarter than I am. Everything I said about an idle, when I tried to do something with the hydraulics, it automatically said I don't have the power and kicked the idle up. So that's cool. That's great. Because if you hear hydraulics bogging, that's not cool. Right? And we got expensive hydraulics on this. Do not deviate the hydraulic fluid. Where's our mechanic guy? There's but one. Okay? In the book, it's specified it's a 5 DTM mobile. But there's other people will come around and try to sell you that red agricultural hydraulic fluid, and I've seen it destroy these. They got high friction modifiers in those. They'll say it meets the spec, but when those friction modifiers hit our pumps and seals, you got a sprinkler system.
I can get that to you guys, right?
Yeah. Or your fluids guy if it's the right brand. It's specified in the book, but so many times I've seen it's a multi-viscosity fluid, so when it's an oversized tank and reservoir in case we had a leak, got an extra amount of fluid in there. And so multi-viscosity, when it's cold right now, it's going to read low on the stick. So you think you're doing the right thing, and you pour in some of that red agricultural crap, and now all of a sudden, a month later, you got leaks everywhere. Hydrostat, pumps, crazy. So, not good. All right? And then again, this system is so oversized, you can lose a gallon or so of fluid, and everything's going to run fine. But stay with the fluid that's in the book.
Engine oil?
Engine oil, I don't care. You know, whatever you do there. This is a Mitsubishi engine. So 520, 530, change it 100 hours, all those things. There's a maintenance schedule in the book.
Is there a breakout time for the changes?
Yeah, and they're usually like 100 hours.
100 hours?
Yeah, so 100. At 200, we do a big service.
Okay. You guys come in for a big service, or do we take care of that, or? Okay.
Where's, I think either way, or both.
Right, yep.
Right.
We got that covered?
So you have to figure that out.
Okay.
And engine oil, do your own thing. Don't care. Fuel injected. Propane's the same as your forklifts, right? We stole that from them. We got one of your bottles on there. Same 11-pound, right? Forklift liquid, not gas, LPG. No difference, whatever. Actually, you know where that goes?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, good.
Look at that.
If you had a gas machine or a diesel machine, this is where the gas tank would be. Here's what I was talking about, that hydraulic tank.
Yep.
It's a monster. There's lots of extra fluid in there, and it always reads low because it's not hot yet. So it's going to, multi-viscosity, it's going to expand itself. So this is perfectly normal and perfectly good and perfectly the right color.
Okay.
And really, I mean, there's no need except, you know, when you do your major hydraulic service, when you take the filter off, fluid will go a long time. So that's what that is, hydraulic fluid, propane tank. Again, the propane bottle design. There is a safety latch. You got to get the seat.
Yep.
Just got to get to that. And any forklift bottle, it's steel.
Perfect.
Just so you know, on propane, I don't know if you had this problem with other propane machines, but the fuel needle speaks with a fork needle. It's not very accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
You usually gotta take it off.
Everybody that, don't you?
Well, it says it's in half and I'm stalled.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's true here too. We haven't really got that down either. We stole it from those guys. That's easy.
Yeah.
What else on bottles? Yeah, you also, you know, you got a reading here too, which is a little more accurate than sometimes you do. About a full shift on a bottle. About a full 7 hours sleeping, something like that. Depending on what we're doing, how much stuff's on. Full shift on a bottle too. It is showing the video that it would flash when it was low, F10 or some code.
Yeah.
And you see that on the display. That usually tells you got like 10 minutes to get a safe. Get the heck out of the way. Get somewhere, right? Get out of the road. Oh, if that, in the event you were ever ran out with that fork needle we talked about, and you're in the middle of an aisleway and you're a safety hazard, this is a hydrostat, and you cannot push through a hydrostat, but you can freewheel the hydraulics on this. There is a bypass valve that you can turn and freewheel this in a dangerous situation.
Where is that at?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the hydraulic pump in the back here. And you just turn it 90 degrees and you can get the thing freewheeled. You guys really shouldn't have to worry about that, but it is there. Don't try to push the hydrostat. It doesn't work and it's not good for hydraulics. So there is a bypass though, I can see on this.
And actually, we should never have to do that because what we do with our propane bottles and stuff for all our forklifts is we have a unit and we put 6 bottles in, take them out to the propane tank, fill them, bring them back. So we have them full on hand all the time.
Right on. You'll never ever issue. Forget that though.
Well,
Nice to know about though.
yeah.
If you ever had to push the hydraulic, you understand that's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
Bad for the forklift pushing it, bad for the machine.
Be hard down here, pushing it.
Yeah. And, you know, again, all these motors are run hydraulically. Even the power steering is hydraulic on this machine, okay? How many cars do you know of that have hydraulic power steering? No, I mean, that's the quality. We got 3 pumps, one dedicated to your drive wheel, which is in the front. So you got front wheel drive, 3-wheel design, okay? for maneuverability to get in and out of your tight edges and do your rat runs with this. Where I'm going with that three-wheel design, when you first get in this, slow down and get used to it because it turns really quickly. It'll turn on itself. The problem there is you're used to your automobile with four. So you turn with three and this rear end swings around fast. Boy, it hits stuff, takes out walls and cars and people, I don't know. It does, it swings out fast.
Give me the list for people.
So that three-wheel thing is really different for people who get in here and used to their little sedan. Okay, it turns too fast sometimes. Okay, you got solid cushion ride wheels here. They're drilled out to give, and that's it for suspension. This has no other. Be right like a tank. That's why you should go slow.
Nice seat though.
Yeah, there you go. Again, you have one pump dedicated to the propulsion, the front wheel. Gradability is about 10%, and providing you don't have slick surface or soak down or whatever. So pretty good on that. You know, you can transport these machines a heck of a lot faster than you super scrub, right? And that's been a problem. Because you can turn that thing on and fly down these aisleways at 10 miles an hour. But if you try to sweep or scrub at those speeds, you are just making a mess. That's not enough time for the machine to do anything but just spew stuff out. You've got to slow these things down when you're sweeping or scrubbing to a nice gentle walk. Okay? About 2 miles, they say 2 to 3 mile an hour walk. That's where you're cleaning. And then you want to shut all that stuff off and get to the other side to plant the dump. That's fine. But, yeah. Especially when it's new and it's three-wheel. Slow yourselves down. Take some time here. You want things worth more than my car. Your car, too. All our cars, yeah. Except for the Baruco guy.
Yeah, right.
Any questions here? We're flying along. Whoops. My bad. One latch in, one latch up. One's down, one's 90. I don't know. I hate everything here. Okay. All right. We are winding down to controls.
Do we want to go through the tanks at all?
Yeah, sure. You know, why keep this? Yeah, good stuff there. So our tanks are rotationally molded, one tank. They'll have different access ports on either side so you can get the things. Fill from this side, fill from that side, fill wherever you want, but it's one tank. So, okay? You understand how that works?